Here's a video of mine with nearly 23 million views that has generated nearly $3,000 in revenue. Now compare that to this video with 1 million views that has generated nearly $30,000 in revenue. Here's another million view video that has generated nearly $9,000 in revenue. And here's yet another million view video that has generated $3,700 in revenue. Same amount of views, wide range of revenue. You might be wondering, why is all the revenue all over the place? And I'm here to tell you that it's not random. There are factors that help determine how much revenue you could generate on your videos, and I'm here to share those factors with you to set you up for success. My name is Pat Flynn. I've been on YouTube since 2009 here on this channel, but I've recently started some even bigger channels that have blown up, including Deep Pocket Monster, which started in 2021 with nearly 1.8 million subscribers and 315 million views. This is a Pokemon YouTube channel. And then there's this channel, a short form channel that started just 1 year ago that has already amassed over 2 million subscribers and 4.3 billion views cross-platform. And no, I didn't link to it for my other one. It was started from scratch. And if you haven't come across these videos on your feed, this is what they're like. This pack is from the 1900s.
Should I open it or should I keep it sealed?
So yeah, those are my videos. I also post them on Instagram and TikTok in addition to here on YouTube Shorts. And in total, we're seeing about 10.1 million views every day, which is insane. So I'm in the long game. I'm in the short form game. And I'm here to share with you a number of factors that help you determine how much revenue you could generate here on YouTube, because I want you to succeed. And I don't share this to go like, hey, look at me, look how awesome I am. I'm here to show you what can happen on your channel if you know what's going on, and that I have the experience to share, and now I'm passing it forward to you. So we need to define something really quick, and that's RPM. You probably already know what this is, but if you don't, that's revenue per milli, or for every 1,000 views. And this is a metric that we're going to talk about that you need to understand, because this is how much YouTube pays you for every 1,000 views, depending on your video. And there's a number of factors that change the revenue per 1,000 views, and we're going to talk about those factors right now. The first one, longs versus shorts. Longs, generally speaking, most of the time are going to generate more revenue than a short. You take a long video with a number of views and a short video with the same number of views, and the longs are typically going to outperform the shorts. That being said, shorts are amazing for accelerated growth, for discoverability, all those kinds of things. Longs are okay for that as well, but in general, RPMs are going to be much higher for longs. Let me show you. Here's that video with about 23 million views I showed earlier. It is indeed a short, and that's why the estimated revenue is so little compared to the others, relatively speaking. If I were to go to revenue here and scroll down, you'll see that the RPMs, the revenue per 1,000 views, is just 16 cents. Now, that's better than nothing, but for 22 million views, I mean, that's a lot of people. For $3,000, it doesn't seem like much, but again, it's something. Now, if I were to go to a comparable video, meaning in the same industry, or Pokemon, if you will, because they're both Pokemon channels, here's a long-form video that has just 1 million views, 5% of the number of views as the other. However, it's generated about 3 times more revenue, so about $9,000 in revenue. It's just a longer video, and therefore it has a higher RPM. Let's go to revenue and scroll down, and you can even see the revenue per 1,000 views, $8.40. What's better, $8.40 or 16 cents? Yeah. Personally, I like using both. I like longs to tell a deeper story and to go deeper with my audience, to build a longer relationship with them. And of course, it pays more. But shorts are great too, because I can get in front of people and build sort of a daily ritual of showing up and becoming known that way. And that has opened up a lot of doors and opportunities too. Now, let's go into another factor, and that is your audience. The audience that watches your videos is a major factor that determines the RPMs of your videos. So who is watching? That's really important to understand. There's a lot of factors related to this, right? So let's talk about the highest paying niches in terms of RPMs. And when you see this, you'll kind of get an idea why this is so high. So finance and investing. RPMs, I've seen upwards of $30 to $50 for every 1,000 views, compared to, like I said, with shorts, 16 cents or even less. Education and test preparation, tech and AI, or artificial intelligence, and digital marketing and business. In fact, let me show you this video, which I shared the numbers with you earlier, 1 million views, but look at the estimated revenue, 27,732. This is a podcasting tutorial. Yes, it's a little bit longer, but let's look at the revenue as well. $26.89 for every 1,000 views. So that's a lot higher even to a comparable video like in the Pokemon space, which I showed you earlier, which was this one. Almost the same amount of time. This is 28 minutes. However, the RPMs are much lower because it's more entertainment based. So let me show you some of the lowest paying RPMs. Again, this doesn't mean to avoid them. It just means you're going to not make as much money from the number of views that you have. There are other ways to generate revenue, which I'll talk about in just a moment here. But generally speaking, this fits in the lowest category. Kid-specific content for sure. If you have kid-specific content, because of the way ads are run and those kinds of things, it's just you're not going to make a lot of money doing that. Gaming, music, comedy, and non-English videos. These are all categories that would have the lowest RPMs or revenue per 1,000 views. Now, where does the money come from? That's important to understand because that kind of goes along with exactly what we're talking about here, right? So an advertiser is where the money comes from. A company that wants to get in front of audiences, and they will pay YouTube a certain amount of money to get in front of specific audiences, right? They don't just pay YouTube and go, okay, like just put it to anybody. They choose certain creators or niches or categories or keywords to send their videos out for, and that money goes to the creator. YouTube keeps 45% of that revenue. You, the creator, keeps 55%. But think about it from an advertiser's perspective. If you are in a niche that has nothing really to do with their product, then they're not going to pay you. And this is why a lot of creators who are in the tech space, in the AI space, in finance or fintech, there's a lot of money being thrown around to get in front of people because a sign up is worth a lot to somebody's tool, somebody's software, whatever it might be. So this is why you, the creator, can generate a lot of money because there's a lot more money being poured to advertise. Now, there is seasonality here as well. Usually more toward the end of the year, you're going to generate more revenue, again, generally speaking, versus at the beginning of the year because people are unloading their budgets and spending a lot more to get in front of people during the holidays, etc. But yeah, it comes from the advertiser. So keep that in mind when it comes to the videos that you create. Also, it's important to check your demographics because you might have a video with millions of views. But if most of those views are coming from, for example, overseas, then those views aren't going to count very much for revenue per 1,000 or for RPMs, because advertisers maybe don't want to target those countries. So a way to check is to go into your advanced analytics settings and sort by geography. So I'm going to do that for one of my videos right now and show you. Here's that podcasting tutorial. I'm going to go into advanced mode here under analytics, and I'm going to go top geographies in the last 28 days, and I'm going to sort it by lifetime. And it will actually show you estimated revenue from each of these different countries. Now, the United States, the most interested in podcasting tutorials, obviously here. United Kingdom is paying as well, but you can see that India, even though it has a lot more views, right? 4.5% of the total viewership from India, but the total revenue is 0.3%. So, for example, in this case, for this particular piece of content, if I get a load of views coming from India, it's not going to pay that much. So I might have a skewed number with millions of views, just not a lot of money coming in. Now, one thing that's a little bit more advanced that I'll just speak to here since we're talking about different countries, if you find that there are countries that are paying a lot, you might consider dubbing your videos in that language, and that is something that's possible now. You can actually go and do that here. If you go to languages, you can actually create different audio files with different dubs and show up in that country's YouTube algorithm. And it's almost like creating a new video. So just something to pay attention to. I'll do another video about that later. Now, I had mentioned earlier that there's a number of different ways to generate revenue, not just through advertising. And one of those ways is to sell something. And if you want the easy way to sell something, I'd recommend something like Stan Store. You can create online courses to talk about the things you're teaching. You can set up a way to charge for some of your time to do consultations or coaching. You can even use Stan to build a list of leads and generate emails. That's what we do. If you go to my Stan Store, you can see on the screen right now that there's a number of different lead magnets. You can even listen to my podcast and do a number of different things thanks to Stan. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for other ways to generate revenue beyond just the advertising dollars that you could earn. Well, check out Stan's. They also have the best sort of link in bio kind of link tree situation, but it's much, much better, much more optimized for especially your business and if you're offering something or trying to generate leads. So again, go to smartpassiveincome.com/Stan. You get your first month for free. And let's keep talking about RPMs. Another factor that matters when it comes to your RPMs is the length of your video. Now, I'm not just talking about longs versus shorts. We've already talked about that. Those two things can be almost treated like separate feeds, separate entities, right? Different payout processes, etc. I'm talking about your long form videos. The longer the video in general, the more money you can make. And I think this is obvious, but the reason is because you get to include more ad breaks. There's just more opportunities to include ads because if your videos on YouTube are more than 8 minutes, you have the opportunity to create mid-rolls and you get to choose how many mid-rolls you want to include. In general, most people include one every 90 seconds or 2 minutes, and I'll show you what that looks like when you can actually set them yourself. Here's that Pokemon video that made about $9,000. I'm going to go to monetization and manage ad slots, and you'll see a number of ad slots added here. I think we have like 13 to 15 here, and YouTube doesn't play them all. It chooses based on the viewer and their behavior whether or not to play it or not. But the more you include, the more opportunities for sure. Don't go crazy with that though. But look at this video, 28 minutes in length. Let me show you another Pokemon video for the same channel, 11 minutes in length. Still 1 million views, but I mean, the revenue is $3,700, like less than half, simply because the video is longer and there's more opportunities for ad breaks. Let me go back into monetization here for this video, manage ad slots, and as you can see, there's just a few. We could probably add a few more if we wanted to. The next factor is engagement on your video. And no, I'm not talking about that kind of engagement or this kind of engagement. I'm talking about this kind of engagement. The more comments, likes, shares, reposts, and saves. In general, the more you have of that kind of activity, the better your videos will perform and the higher the RPMs will be. Now, sometimes it can happen directly, right? Because of that engagement, YouTube will pay you more money. This is very much common on other platforms as well. However, more importantly, an engaging video just simply means it's better for the viewer, which means more comments, shares, and likes, and higher watch time, which means more people are going to continue to watch those videos and then continue to see those mid-rolls that you added in there. And that leads to more impressions and more revenue. Now on shorts, yes, the longer watch time also matters for more impressions. And of course, the more you help YouTube by helping people stay on the platform because your videos are that great, the more they're going to help you, right? So just make your videos better. I think that's just kind of goes without saying, like, make your videos better. That is a strategy. Better doesn't mean higher production. Better doesn't mean faster with more explosions. It just simply means know who your audience is that you're targeting, create better hooks, create more open loops, give them something satisfactory that's worth sharing and talking about. The fifth factor is what I like to call the fun factor. And I know it sounds completely cheesy, but the truth is this. If you are having fun creating these videos, your audience is going to have more fun watching them, which leads to more engagement and all the things we just talked about, and more people are going to talk about them, and more opportunities will happen as well. Now, you don't need millions of subscribers like I have and millions of views to be very successful here on YouTube. You just need a plan, and your plan could be staying consistent and being clear and showing up for your audience every single day or however often you can do that within your schedule, but also a way to bring people from those videos to something else like an offer that you have or a lead magnet to generate an email list. And again, you can use Stan to do that. So head to smartpassiveincome.com/Stan, get your free month, set up your link in bio, all those things. And if you want to see mine, head on over to stan.store/PatFlynn. All the links are in the description below. And I hope this video was informative. Let me know what other YouTube questions you might have, because I'm all in on YouTube in this world, and we're seeing millions, if not billions of views, and I want to help. So let me know, what questions might you have? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.